The night in Portland felt heavier than usual. It was only the third game of the season, yet something about the energy inside the Moda Center carried the weight of a statement. The Golden State Warriors, fresh off two impressive victories against the Lakers and Nuggets, walked into the Blazers' home court expecting another triumph. But basketball, as always, has a way of humbling even the greatest. The final scoreline, 139-119, told a story not of defeat alone, but of awakening. Stephen Curry, as always, rose to the moment. Coming off a 42-point masterpiece less than 24 hours earlier, he still managed to drop 35 points with 7 threes, dancing through defenders and silencing doubters who wondered if fatigue might slow him down. Every shot he made echoed the rhythm of confidence built over a decade of brilliance. Yet, even Curry's magic couldn't rewrite the night's destiny. The Blazers came hungry, desperate to end a 10-game losing streak against Golden State. Led by Denny Avdija's career-high 26 points, Portland attacked with aggression, finding open looks, driving the lanes, and controlling tempo. Their offense felt relentless, their spirit unbroken. By halftime, the lead had ballooned to double digits, and even as the Warriors fought back, every response was met by another Portland punch. Draymond Green tried to ignite the flame early. His voice, his hustle, and his leadership were on full display, starting the game by scoring or assisting on the first 4 Warrior buckets. But as the night deepened, fatigue showed. The defense that once terrified opponents cracked under Portland's pace. The rotations lagged. Communication slipped. And by the fourth quarter, the Blazers had built a wall no comeback could break. Jonathan Kuminga was one of the few bright spots. His 2 explosive dunks in the first half reminded everyone why the franchise still believes in his ceiling. With only 7 shot attempts, he scored 16 points, adding rebounds and energy every time he touched the floor. His chemistry with the rookie Will Richard flashed promise, a glimpse into the Warriors' future beyond their aging core. Speaking of that youth, Quinton Post made his first start of the season. Replacing veteran Al Horford, who sat out the back-to-back, Post showed confidence, calm footwork, solid screens, and a soft touch around the rim. It was his chance to prove that even in a roster full of champions, there's room for fresh legs and new ambition. And then came Moses Moody, finally making his season debut after missing the first 2 games due to a calf injury. Moody's presence was quiet but impactful. 7 points, 6 trips to the free throw line, and 21 minutes of solid defense. For a team looking for bench consistency, that's gold. Yet still, the truth lingered: Golden State had been outplayed. Out-hustled. Out-rebounded. Outshot. As the final buzzer sounded, the Blazers celebrated as if they had won a playoff game. In a way, the next challenge, back home in the Bay. Now, the Warriors return to Chase Center, where they'll host 2 California rivals back-to-back, the Memphis Grizzlies on Monday, and the Los Angeles Clippers on Tuesday. The Grizzlies bring grit. They're young, physical, and hungry. Every matchup between these two has become personal, a rivalry born from playoff battles and trash talk. For Golden State, that's an emotional reset, a chance to rediscover rhythm, defensive intensity, and confidence. Then comes the Clippers, perhaps the toughest early season test. 2 California teams, both packed with veterans, both chasing one last championship window. The Clippers' roster is a museum of experience: Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, Chris Paul, Bradley Beal. Each a name that once defined an era, now sharing the same court under one goal: redemption. For Golden State, the narrative feels familiar. They too are led by legends: Curry, Green, Thompson, icons whose chemistry has carried the franchise through dynasties and droughts alike. But this time, they face the mirror version of themselves, a team just as seasoned, just as battle-tested, and just as desperate to prove they're not done. The key matchup? Jimmy Butler 3 versus Kawhi Leonard. 2 wings carved from the same cloth, relentless, fearless, and utterly obsessed with winning. Butler, now in his first full season with Golden State, has brought leadership, defense, and a veteran's edge. Kawhi, quiet as ever, remains the silent killer. Their duel promises to be chess, not checkers, strategic, patient, and brutal. Momentum, legacy, and the long season ahead. Through the first week, Golden State's identity feels clear. When they play fast, share the ball, and trust their depth, they're deadly. But when fatigue sets in and defensive focus fades, even a rebuilding team like Portland can expose them. The integration of new faces, Al Horford, D'Anthony Melton, Will Richard, Quinton Post, will take time. The chemistry isn't built overnight. But the foundation remains the same: the brilliance of Curry, the mind of Draymond, and the energy of Kuminga. The Warriors' story this season isn't just about chasing wins. It's about evolution. About proving that greatness can adapt, that experience can coexist with youth, and that the dynasty still breathes. Each game ahead, against Memphis, the Clippers, and beyond, is another chapter in that fight. The road won't be smooth, and the competition in the West is fierce. But if history has taught us anything, it's that Golden State doesn't fade quietly. They reload. They adjust. They rise. As the Chase Center lights up again, the fans will stand, thousands of blue and gold hearts beating as one, waiting for the next Curry explosion, the next Kuminga dunk, the next Draymond roar. The season has just begun, and so has the story. Every trade is more than numbers, it's chemistry. Inside the Warriors' locker room, relationships have long defined success. The strength in numbers mantra wasn't marketing, it was oxygen. Kerr's squads thrived because egos dissolved into movement. The ball found the open man, the system rewarded patience, and the joy of play became contagious. But joy has been harder to find lately. The tension between old and new, veterans chasing one more title, youngsters demanding larger roles, has created an invisible divide. Kuminga, once heralded as the bridge to the future, has voiced frustration about minutes and usage. He wants touches, the veterans want trust. Enter Tyler Herro, whose confidence borders on defiance. In Miami, that energy occasionally grated on teammates, but Butler learned to channel it. "You don't tell Tyler to chill," Butler said during the 2023 playoffs. "You let him cook, then you live with it." Golden State might need exactly that spark, a scorer fearless enough to take shots even when Curry hesitates to force them. The question is cultural: can Kerr's system, built on harmony, coexist with Herro's heat-check swagger? Assistant coach Chris DeMarco thinks so. "Tyler's edge reminds me of early Draymond," he said. "He competes. You can refine that. What you can't teach is courage." The origin of a scorer. To understand why the Warriors covet him, you trace Herro's path back to Wisconsin, a snow-dusted suburb outside Milwaukee where he first practiced shooting in a backyard rim nailed to a garage. His story, as ESPN chronicled in 2020, began with rejection. He once committed to Wisconsin before flipping to Kentucky, facing backlash from hometown fans. He responded by torching opponents with poise that belied his age. At Kentucky, John Calipari let him experiment. "He wasn't scared of the lights," Calipari recalled. "That's what I remember. Big moments didn't shrink him." Miami drafted him 13th overall in 2019, and by his rookie postseason he was already a folk hero, strutting down the bubble sidelines with a snarl after hitting dagger threes. Herro's personality, part Midwestern grit, part Miami flash, has always divided observers. Supporters call him fearless, critics call him cocky. To Golden State, that duality may be appealing. For a team once defined by confidence, from Curry's shimmy to Thompson's silent stoicism, Herro represents a generational echo of their own audacity. Jimmy Butler's shadow. Reuniting Butler and Herro would be one of the NBA's most fascinating experiments. Their relationship in Miami was complex, mutual respect wrapped in friction. Butler pushed Herro relentlessly, questioning his defense, testing his maturity. "He's got to earn it," Butler said in 2022, when asked about Herro starting. A year later, the two were laughing together after eliminating Boston again. Now imagine them sharing a locker room again, this time under Kerr's quieter authority. Butler's relentless work habits. Now imagine them sharing a locker room again, this time under Kerr's quieter authority. Butler's relentless work habits might lift the team's intensity. Harrow's shot creation could free him from constant ball-handling duties. For Curry, who often shoulders leadership by example rather than command, Butler's vocal edge could be both a blessing and a challenge. The three stars would need alignment: Curry's joy, Butler's ferocity, Harrow's ambition. If that triangle harmonizes, it could rival any big three in the league. Steph's calm, Jimmy's chaos, Tyler's confidence. An anonymous scout summarized. If they find rhythm, good luck stopping them. 9. Tactical implications. On the floor, the potential combinations tantalize tacticians. Kerr's offense is predicated on perpetual motion, screens, cuts, split actions that punish defensive indecision. Harrow's ability to handle and pick and rolls adds a dimension missing since Durant left, a secondary creator who can collapse defenses and hit shooters. Picture a sequence. Curry runs off a stagger screen on the weak side while Harrow initiates high pick and roll with Green. The defense hesitates. Switch and Curry is open, trap and Harrow finds Green short rolling to kick. It's basketball geometry, and Harrow adds new angles. Defensively, the fit is trickier. Harrow's lateral quickness is average, and opposing guards often target him. Kerr's system hides weaknesses through communication and help rotations, but it requires discipline. Butler's presence helps. His instinct to switch, rotate, and bark assignments could shield Harrow from mismatches. 10. The numbers behind the narrative. Analytics departments across the league have already modeled scenarios. According to Synergy data, Harrow generated 1.09 points per possession as a pick-and-roll ball handler last season, top 15% among guards. When paired with an elite shooter like Curry, simulations project that number could climb to 1.17, effectively turning Golden State into a top 5 offense again. From a spacing perspective, Harrow's 37.5% accuracy on contested threes forces defenders to stay glued, opening driving lanes for Butler and Curry. His pull-up mid-range game, once criticized, now ranks above league average, particularly from the right elbow. Salary cap analysts, however, note the downside. Golden State would owe roughly $285 million in total payroll and tax penalties if no contracts are shed. It's the cost of chasing greatness. Cap expert Bobby Marks said on ESPN's Hoop Collective. They can afford it, but they better win. It was one of those nights at Chase Center when basketball didn't feel like a game. It felt like destiny testing the limits of belief. The Golden State Warriors, a team many had written off as aging, inconsistent, and past their prime, stood face to face with the reigning Western Conference powerhouse, the Denver Nuggets. Under the bright lights, in front of a roaring San Francisco crowd, the Warriors reminded everyone why dynasties don't die quietly. This was not just a win, it was a statement, a declaration that Golden State's fire still burns, deep, bright, and unstoppable. From the opening tip, the energy was electric. Stephen Curry, the heartbeat of this franchise, came out with that familiar look, calm eyes, tight jaw, and a quiet fury beneath his smile. The first quarter started fast, with the Nuggets' precision offense slicing through early defensive rotations. Nikola Jokic, the two-time MVP, orchestrated Denver's attack like a maestro, dishing passes with surgical accuracy. Jamal Murray danced around screens, pulling up from mid-range with the confidence of a veteran assassin. But the Warriors were not backing down. Al Horford, the seasoned addition that fans had questioned, proved his worth early, anchoring the paint, boxing out Jokic, and making the kind of smart plays that don't always make the highlight reels but win games. Jonathan Kuminga, the young gun, was a spark plug off the bench. His energy was contagious. Every rebound, every fast break dunk felt like a message. The new generation of Warriors is ready. The first half turned into a slugfest, lead changes piling up, both teams trading baskets and momentum like heavyweight fighters. Curry hit deep threes, Murray answered. Jokic bullied his way inside. Horford countered with poise. The crowd could feel it. This was shaping up to be a classic. By halftime, the scoreboard barely separated the two sides. The Warriors went into the locker room trailing by just 3, but the confidence was palpable. Inside the tunnel, Curry spoke softly to his teammates, his voice low but commanding. Stay poised. We play our game. Klay Thompson, no longer the same sharpshooter from years ago but still a veteran voice, nodded in agreement. Draymond Green, the emotional leader, pounded his chest, rallying his brothers for what he knew would be a war in the second half. The third quarter exploded into chaos. Denver went on a 10-0 run, punishing every defensive lapse. Jokic found Gordon for backdoor cuts, and Murray hit a ridiculous fadeaway over Payton II that silenced the arena. Steve Kerr called timeout. The Warriors huddled, breathing hard, faces drenched in sweat. Then came the switch. Golden State adjusted defensively, throwing mixed coverages at Jokic, forcing turnovers, speeding up the tempo. And just like that, the momentum flipped. Curry hit back-to-back threes, vintage form, the kind of shots that make you shake your head and laugh because they're impossible, yet inevitable. The Crow. As the fourth quarter began, the tension was unbearable. Every possession mattered. Kuminga was everywhere, attacking, defending, diving for loose balls. Horford hit a clutch corner three that gave Golden State a 4-point lead with 2 minutes to go. But the Nuggets are champions for a reason. Jokic, calm as ever, hit a hook shot, then assisted Murray for a game-tying jumper. Time ticked down, 15 seconds left, Warriors ball. Curry held it at the top, isolation, crossed over, step back three, rims out. The buzzer sounded. Overtime. The first overtime was a masterpiece of exhaustion and willpower. Both teams running on fumes but refusing to give an inch. Curry hit a floater, Jokic answered with a spinning layup, Murray buried a tough jumper in transition. Then came the moment. With 12 seconds left, Warriors up 2, Jokic got the ball in the post, spun baseline, and scored over Horford to tie it again. Double overtime. The arena could barely breathe. In the second overtime, it was all heart. Curry was gassed, yet his legs found strength where logic said there was none. Kuminga turned into a beast, driving past Gordon, finishing through contact.